Welcome to Encroachment Sports Talk. I'm flying solo today, and we're going to talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs. I'm going to make my predictions. Before I get into that, baseball seems to really get the short end of the stick a lot. It's losing in popularity nationwide, and we haven't covered it much on our episodes. And I have a theory as to why that's happening. And I think it's because of the advent of the internet. Think back to the days, most of us watching are old enough to where back in the day you got the newspaper. You opened up the sports section, got your cereal ready, you ate your cereal and just kind of lost yourself in the sports section. And personally, I would kind of, I'd read the articles, but I would get to the page with all the box scores and all the stats. And there it was on one page while you're eating that cereal, cutting the roof of your mouth on your honeycombs or Captain Crunch. Everything would jump out at you. There'd be the leaderboards, there'd be the standings, and you would know what's going on in baseball. There's so many different players in baseball, in the line between who's doing well and who's not is way more fine than in basketball and football, where the stars just jump out at you. And that doesn't happen anymore. Your experience on the internet is vastly different. You have to go out of your way to see a box score for a certain game. And so you're not going to go through all the different box scores and check out who had a nice game. You're not going to go generally look at the league leaders. So, unless you're a rotisserie nut, which some of you may be, but I'm not. And so anyway, that's my theory as to why baseball has taken sort of a backseat, because it's a sport that needs that kind of attention to what's going on over the course of the season, and that's been lost with the internet. But anyway, moving on, baseball can be slow during the regular season, but during the playoffs, it is as intense or more intense than any other sport. When you're watching your team in a heated battle and there's runners on second and third, you got a 1-run lead in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, it's intense. So it's exciting time. I want to just go quickly through who I'm predicting to come out of, to win it all this year, and who's going to come out of who's going to make it to the championship series. And for the record, last year's prediction for me, can't speak as much for my teammates who are unavailable today, but for me, it was Astros over the Dodgers. And, when you take your money to Vegas, you're basically betting on the winner. So 1 for 1 in terms of this show's history, and hoping to do it again. Let's start with the American League. And my theme for this year, I'm going to go with the experienced teams, the teams that have been there. The Baltimore Orioles are really a success story this year. They've come out of nowhere. They're doing great. They won over 100 games. Fantastic season. And they're a great team, but they don't have dominant pitching. Their hitting they don't have any dominant stars. They just got a bunch of guys that are playing baseball the right way. And sometimes that takes you all the way, but I think they're going to come up short this year. I believe they're going to come up short because their matchup is against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays had a 195 run differential this year to the Orioles 129. I think the Rays are the second best team. I think it's pretty obvious. They're the second best team in the American League. And I like their starting pitching in Glasnow, Savali, and Eflin. McClanahan being out hurts them, but I think they have enough. They have enough experience. They've been there, and I think they're going to get by the Orioles. I like the Astros taking out the Twins for the same reason. The Twins are a nice team. They've got a couple good starters, frontline starters in Gray and Pablo Lopez. A few question marks after that. And I just like, the Astros have been there. They always make a run. We've got Verlander, Framber Valdez, then some question marks, but that lineup that, Alvarez, Altuve, Trucker, Bregman, those guys have been there. They are going to get to the ALCS, but I like the Rays taking care of them. Moving over to the National League, how can you pick against the Braves in the first round? This team has an amazing lineup. Their pitching is solid this season, but a little banged up. With Charlie Morton's, I guess his index finger or something, and I think he's going to be out of the that first round. But I think they're going to have enough with that mashing lineup, to get by whoever comes out of the wild card round. Then I really like the matchup of the Dodgers versus the Brewers, and I'm going to pick an upset there. I'm going to pick the Brewers because in the playoffs, it comes down to pitching. Good pitching will silence good bats. It's happened time and time again. Look at the Yankees last year. Aaron Judge did nothing in the playoffs. So I like the Brewers with that strong pitching with Burns, Peralta, and even Wade Miley. He's a veteran who's pitching effectively. And, the Dodgers have a lot of question marks. And the guy who's not a question mark in Clayton Kershaw, has real question marks just historically in terms of what happens to him in the playoffs. I don't know why, but I'm not going to buck that trend. I think the Brewers are going to knock them off. I do like the Braves taking care of the Brewers, though, and getting to the World Series. But I'm going to go with the Rays. My pick is going to be the Devil Rays taking care of the Braves. I think, with those question marks in the pitching staff, maybe they don't come back healthy. Maybe there's some aggravations of those injuries. And there you have it. I'm going with the Rays in 6 games. So that is it for today's show. Short and sweet. And we will see you in the near future. And we will talk. We have an upcoming show about talking about our awards for the year, MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. So look forward to coming back and having that episode and more football. And we'll see you soon.